Welcome, guys. My name's Adam. You guys having a good day today? Good, good. It's been some good information, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I don't want to bore you, so we're gonna maybe make this a little interactive. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna look at some different things. Let me pull up here something that you all know. This is Milestone. Hopefully you know that, right? Okay. Let me give you a little background first on where I came from. So I came from a university prior to working at Stone, and I was there for about 7 years, give or take, how you count it, across the different departments. While there, I finished out my time there running their camera system of about 1,400 cameras. And so I understand what it means to work with large camera systems because I've done it. And one of the things I love about Stone is we're not just trying to integrate this, integrate that, look at all these amazing things it can do, unless it actually can do it, and unless that something has meaning and purpose to it. So when we talk about integrating our access control and our VMS systems together, particularly Milestone in this case, we gain several tools, and these tools have value to you in your organizations, and they will help you create a better operator experience. We want to give your operators, your users, more tools to do their job in a smoother, more efficient way. If you've had to look at access control events in the past and then try to go back to the video and figure out what that looked like, here's what that was, okay? We go, all right, alarm monitoring. Here's something that looks iffy. You know, we've got some access granted no entries. Okay, well, what's going on with that? All right, well, that was at 8:36 a.m. today, the warehouse man door. All right, let's go to our camera system. Okay, warehouse man door. Let's go. I know I have that here, and now we're going to playback. And okay, what time was that at again? Let's look. Okay, at 8:36. And then going back to, what a pain. So here's where this simple integration really starts to come into play. Let me show you. Let's go back to this view here and go to live. Oops, I don't want that video yet. We're going to go to live. Okay.
Bye.
Here's my IDF door. If I want to see who used that door, there's the list. I'll make it full screen so you guys can see a little bit better too. Okay? This is the camera inside the room. There's also a camera outside the room too. But I can scroll and I can see, okay, I actually came in, opened the door. Let's roll it backwards. Okay, who else was there? Well, the Hulk was there. Here's me again. Here's me again. A couple doors held open. We've been in and out of there a couple times. So it's really straightforward to get that quick reference. All right, so let's look at that, that earlier event on the warehouse door. Okay, where's my warehouse door? So let's go to On Guard. We'll do this one with 4 doors. And
Like that.
We'll do this one. So again, here's an invalid access. Here's a granted access, an invalid access. I intentionally broke some of the access levels last night so that when people came in this morning, I'd have more invalid access, access denied to show you, because it's not like people are trying to break into our building on a daily basis. But it's so quick and easy to just say, here's my access control event. This is coming from my access control system, pulling into Milestone, the event name, the timestamp, the photo, the name, the badge type is all being pulled over into Milestone. Okay, all right. Let's say I want to look at where a particular person has been. We'll pick myself. All right. Where else have I been? One click took me to the search, pre-filled my name, and here is the running list. So this is our access control events tab, which with my screen scaling as it is right now, it shows off to the side, minimize down, but access control pre-fills the name, and I can easily just click down through them and see all of my events. We can see what it is, access granted, access denied. We can see where, what door it's on, the timestamp. Now, if you have a person with a badge and they come and say, hey, I lost my badge, you can come and search here quickly. Okay, well, where was the last time your badge was used? Oh, that's not you. Let's roll it back further. Okay, there's you. So somewhere after this time, in between this time, you dropped it after this and somebody picked it up and started to use it this. That's really powerful, really quick to be able to do that in such a fast way. Could you imagine having to do that with two systems that weren't connected? You'd have to pull a report, then you're referencing that report to the video. You're jumping between different cameras. Okay, it was here, here, here. It'd take forever. Okay, so let me jump back so I don't get too ahead of myself here. So when we talk about tools, because we want to give you useful tools. Useful tool number one, access control events matched with video. We just looked at that. Tool number two, it's a single application. I hate to throw the term single pane of glass because it's got so much buzz in the market around it. But this is one application where I have kind of the best of both worlds in one place. You can still use alarm monitoring or S2 Netbox if that is a better solution for that user. Or most people tend to want to look at the video with their access control. So we like to take it to Milestone. Visual cardholder verification, we'll look at some demos of that here in a little bit. The activity list, what's happening, maps. We've all seen Milestone maps, but have you seen Milestone maps with doors mapped with them? Could you imagine working with a PD group? For example, universities are a great use case because they're a tiny city all on their own. But the PD group at a university is not necessarily familiar with where all the cameras are and where they're being put up and where they're being added. And so for them to be that familiar with their camera system to jump through it is really challenging. So these maps, we're going to look at them in a little bit more detail. Milestone Mobile, I can get access control data on my mobile. We'll look at that as well. And then automating actions. What can we do to streamline and make our user experiences better? So that's the main bulk of tools that we're going to look at during this session here, this demo. Okay, so first thing, we looked at the list of running people. Let's get McKay up. McKay is going to help me with a little demonstration here. For those of you in the room, McKay is going to be over here in the corner using our IDF door. For those of you not in the room, I have the cameras up on my screen. So down in the bottom left corner, you'll see McKay. Go ahead and wave McKay. There we go. Okay, so McKay is going to badge his card on our IDF door, and he should get an access granted. And there we have the event that just popped up, access granted, and on the inside of the door, we saw that he opened the door and started to walk into the space. Reviewing that, I can click it. It gives me the details, and I can scroll that video. My timeline hasn't quite caught up with me yet, but it is there. Okay. Now let's look at what happens when we get an access denied. So McKay's got a Hulk badge there in his pocket. Okay, lots of stuff is happening here. I get a access notification, an access request notification that pops up on my workstation. You can turn these on, you can turn these off, you can customize what group of users they're delivered to. From here, I can set the mode to default, I can set it to lock, I can do a temporary, momentary unlock, whatever we want to do, however we want to behave, that door to behave. Okay, we can close that. I don't know if you saw it. Go ahead and do it again, McKay. We also got a pop-up in the bottom right corner. We'll call that one out. There it is. Popped up right here. Access denied. My access denied event from OnGuard is coming into Milestone and triggering an alarm definition. That alarm definition is generating some alarms for us up here in our alarm tab. Okay, and we're going to look at a panic button in a little bit. So if you want to grab a seat for a few minutes, you can. Thank you, McKay. All right, so let's look at that alarm list again. Sorry, the access control list. So on this access control list, if you don't know necessarily which door to look for or look at, this is going to be your go-to starting spot. And in this instance, we can look at events, doors, and card holders. For our events, we can search for names. So we can say, show me Hulk. And here is what we get for that. So here's those invalid access that we just demoed and saw. Here's some from earlier where I was testing. And then here's some access granted back before I took away his access. Okay. We can narrow that down with some filters. We can say, just show me the last hour. Just show me today. Show me all. And that goes back as far as your access control retention profiles are set for. We can say, only show me access denieds. Okay, well, there's our invalid access levels, which is an access denied. We can say, just show me access granteds. There's my granteds. And we can say, which doors? We can narrow it down to a particular set of doors if we want to filter that too. We can also generate a report. And here's what that report looks like. So we can say, here's the name. We're going to say Bruce Banner access granted report. Put a date on there too if you want. Where is it going to get saved to? And then it's telling you the filters and the information that the doors and things that you have selected. So include snapshots. This is really nice. We're going to hit create and it's going to generate that report. It's grabbing those snapshots right now. Takes about 30 seconds. And once that's generated, I can hit details. I don't remember where I saved it. That's okay, I've got a link. And here is where it was. And there's my report. And once we open the report, here we go. Here's our milestone access report. So this is really easy to generate. Turn over to an administrator, turn over to your security team. This is the person that we're trying to track. This is where they've been. This is what they look like. These are the doors they typically use. All of it. All right, let's jump out of that. Okay, we can also look at our doors, and this is giving us current statuses of our doors. So right now, our secure vestibule door and the warehouse roll-up door are held open. They're both up. The front door was open earlier, still open earlier. I did unlock it, which is why it's not telling me it's open. I told it to ignore that when it's in an unlocked state. Okay, but we get now that status from the doors. You'll notice, and I'll call this out really quick, my doors in this building come into two systems. So we have NetBox and we have OnGuard. OnGuard does show me those door statuses. NetBox doesn't yet, but that is under development right now. In fact, they wanted to test it, and I said, hold off till after this, because I don't want to break my demo system. But pretty soon we'll have those NetBox door statuses showing here as well. And so right now it just shows door closed. Those may or may not be closed, but we'll get that data soon. Again, same thing. You've got typical filters, which doors, what states do we want to know about. So if you just need a list on what all my doors that are currently held open, we can uncheck the all box. And we can do, let's see, I think I have those coming in as door open. There we go. Uncheck the rest. And there's my door held open right there. Okay. Card holders, if you just need to quickly search for a card holder, you get the whole list of all your card holders. with all of the information that is currently in them inside of OnGuard. So here you've got name, badge type, the badge numbers, are they allowed visitors, the department they're in, their location, when the last time that record was changed inside of OnGuard, and so on. And we can jump here to events, which takes us back to that search. Okay, moving on to maps. So let's go back to our views and maps. Make that full screen so it's easier to see, and I'll zoom out. So here is a typical Milestone map. We've got our cameras on there. We've got doors on there. And in this case, I've got both my OnGuard doors and my NetBox doors. Those doors are showing states. So we can see that this vestibule door is currently in a held open state. It's throwing an alarm because of that. My front door is currently in an unlocked state. And I have a red circle around the IDF door because there's an alarm tied to that door. And so that's showing that. I have also my software and controllers on the map, as well as the readers, and an input button, which we demo as a panic button. So we'll look at that as well. On the doors, I can interact with these doors on the map as well. So I can right click on a door. I can say open. If I right click on the reader, I get different options. So here I can change my reader modes. I can set that to unlocked, locked, card or pin, card and pin, facility mode only, or just back to whatever the configured default is. So here we'll just go like this and we'll say open. You hear it click for those who are in the room. I can click on the reader. I can say set card mode to unlocked. Now, here on my alarms, I have another alarm that it has generated. I have an alarm definition called remote unlock. And you can see the category is just an insignificant alarm. It's just more for tracking purposes. If somebody were to, through the software or from a mobile app, unlock a door, this is just another place to create a log entry for it. Okay? All right. So back to that example of a university where your on-property security team may not know where all the cameras are. Well, if I get a door forced alarm, let's say they come back in here through our warehouse, I can easily leverage maps to say, okay, there's the door you came in. I can go to playback, and we can pick a time. So we've got somebody there. We can go, okay, where's this person going? And we can move to the next camera. All right, well, based on this map, the only places they can go would be to stay in that room or come out the double doors here into the lobby. Okay, well, what shows me the double doors coming into the lobby? Let's grab this guy. Well, not quite. Let's grab this one. There we go. So now we've got our double doors. We can keep tracking as they come back into the room. Okay, well, where else do they go? Well, according to my map, the only places they can go would be back the way they came, into an office, or further down the way. So when you have a large campus with a large number of cameras, this enables your operators to be able to better track where people are going. See the door states of those doors, be able to trigger those doors. If you can get ahead of the person, you could lock down a door if they've got a stolen badge that they shouldn't be using. So really powerful tool. Okay. All right, so let's look at Milestone Mobile now, because this is fun. So we'll make it full screen, hide everything else in the background. Okay, so this is Milestone Mobile. Oops, there we go. And it's pretty typical for what you see. When you turn on the access control portion of it, if you scroll across the top here, you get an access control tab. In this, I get a list of all my doors in the system. So we can say, show me the, let's pick a good one here, the front door. Here's my front door. Now I have 3 cameras associated with this front door. It's going to show me the default one first, but I can toggle between the rest. There's the intercom at the front door, and here's the inside view of the front door. It tells me the current state of the door. It says door is currently online and unlocked. It does say the door is closed, which it is not, so that tells me that there's an issue I need to look at. So not only is this great for operators, but this is also great for your technicians who are troubleshooting doors, maybe need to figure out what's going on with the door. Why is it saying this when it's actually not? Okay, from here, I can command an open, and that door will open, or unlock for that moment. Let's do one that's a little more visible here. So let's come to warehouse roll-up door. We'll change to a camera where we can see the door. It's currently open. I'll hit the button, and that door is now closing. So if you have a situation where you got to step away from the office maybe for a little bit, but you need to be able to let a contractor in, you can remotely pop those doors on your phone. Okay? All right. And if you click on the video, it'll take you to the live view, and then you can click on the playback and then navigate the playback that way. Let's go back to our access control. Okay, so we have doors. We also have events. So similarly in the Smart Client, how we can see all those events that we were looking at, we can do that same thing here. So door held, open, canceled, door open, command issued. I can click on it, and it's going to show me that event in the timeline. Here's the 3 associated cameras with that event, all in one spot. I can hit view door, and that's going to take me to the door, and now I can issue a command there. We can also see our access requests. So typically an access request is set up so that anybody who badges at a door and gets like an invalid access level or an access denied, those would be the sorts of things that you would say, report this to me as an access request. Those access requests, they do show up in your mobile. They also pop up on your Smart Client as we saw. And from there, you have the option to, 1, see the camera, and then 2, control it. And then on mobile, they expire. And so once they expire, they don't show up on the list anymore. And then you have to look at the events section. All right. Let's look now at automating some behaviors. One thing that we can do, very entry-level automating behaviors, is this. Let me go to this guy, and let's go to live, and then we're going to look at, again, that warehouse camera. The ability to command an action inside a Milestone, to open a door, unlock a door, close a door, whatever it might be, those are permission-based, and there's a couple ways you can do that. One, you can use the default credentials that make that connection between Milestone and your access control system. So if you're using a service account for that, then you'll get those permissions. There is some scoping within those rules of permission, so you can say some people have access to the access control elements and some people don't. If you need to get more granular in that and say, this user has access to these 5 doors to open them, and this user has access to these 10 other doors, but not those 5, then what you do is you're going to require them to enter their access control credentials as they log into Milestone. So Milestone prompts you for your Milestone credentials, and then you'll get a second login screen that prompts you for your access control credentials. And when you do that, it's going to scope that user's permissions to what they would be able to do within the actual access control software if they were just getting there directly. So they're only going to get the doors that they want. They're only going to get the commands that they should have. So there's a couple of different ways to architect that. But let's say you don't want to give somebody access to the access control portion at all, but you do want them to be able to open maybe 1 door, something like that. Well, you don't have to give them access to, there's not an all or nothing here. We have the flexibility. You can create an overlay button inside a Milestone. And this overlay button Single click, and it opens the door. This is really useful for those receiving desks, maybe for the receptionist who has to reach over, hit another button, or get up and unlock the door. The ability to say, hey, I can see somebody, I can see the warehouse guy, or the UPS just showed up, they backed up the truck. I can hit that button and the door opens while I'm walking out to meet them, whatever the situation may be. Really powerful, really useful. So, and those overlay buttons are not just limited to the doors. You can use them to trigger inputs or a bunch of different things. Another thing you can do is pair a rule, and let's look at some rules here. So we can say, for example, and this is a good example, we can say on an access denied, there we go, took a minute to refresh. On an access denied for the IDF door, I want to swing my PTZ to a preset. So if you have an area in a building that doesn't necessarily have coverage of all the doors in that area, you can leverage one PTZ that can see all those doors, and on this event for this door, move to this preset. For this event for this door, move to this preset. I've got it parked right now so that we can have this other view, so it won't swing right now, unfortunately. Okay. We also have sirens and strobes and audio alerts. So, McKay, would you pull our lockdown? Keep my fingers crossed that I didn't break it this morning too. Okay, so pulling the lockdown is a contact closure inside of OnGuard that worked. So that's a button wired into a spare input on one of the Mercury boards. That event in OnGuard is just set up as a panic button. That event then translates into Milestone as a panic button and then triggers a rule. That rule creates a definition. That rule also then in OnGuard says lock all the doors so that nobody can move into the space. Okay, we get that alarm generation. We get that, here's my facility lockdown. It's going to pull up the map where that happened. We see that red alarm around the map. We see the video of McKay pulling that alarm. We have our Access D4100 siren strobe that played a tone and flashed a amber light. Let me tell you why that light is important. Too many of us are accustomed to all of these random notifications and pop-ups that we get on our computers. We get emails, we get chat messages, we get every web page you've ever visited to is trying to throw up messages to you. And our operators and our users have become, they glaze over and they start ignoring things. So if there's an event that you actually want to draw their attention to, you put a D4100 in the dispatch office, in the security office. When that event comes in, a facility lockdown, it's kind of not one you want to ignore, right? So when that event comes in, you set off the siren strobe. Now, this was quiet. This was a quiet setting that it's on right now, because all I want it to do is just draw my attention to the fact that there's something I need to look at, okay? And then from there, they can respond and behave the way they need to. Now, it's still going because our button's still held, right? Go ahead and release our button. And it'll take a second, but it should clear out. There it goes. And if I come back to here, we'll see this. Okay, McKay, would you actually pull that one more time? Because I think I was not on that right screen. And so I really want the people on the live stream to be able to see that D4100 responded in that way. So there it is, facility lockdown. The tone's going off. I need to pay attention. I need to do my job. There's something I need to look at. Start making phone calls, radio calls, whatever it is after that. Okay, thanks. You can reset that. Okay. Let's look at another one. When you think of access control, how many people think of LPR? Probably not many, but it is a trackable asset, right? We have a license plate. Well, one thing we can do is we can take our Milestone LPR data. When we get a match, we can send that event back into OnGuard or into our access control system. So we can say, on a plate match, open a resident gate, whatever that might be. Let me show you an example of that. So this is a high-rise condominium here in Vegas, one of our customers. And what we have is you're going to see a stone vehicle. We've registered our stone vehicle plate in their database. There's two gates. There's a front gate. Those gates have two lanes, as you can see. There's a guest lane and a resident lane. As residents pull up, their plate gets scanned and they can drive right through. There's no interaction required from the guard in the gatehouse. That leaves the guard in the gatehouse free to process the visitors that are coming in through the guest lane. Okay, so we implemented this when they were started to have issues with residents complaining that the guards were busy, not letting them in. They had just a little blue dot on their windshield that they were, the guard was looking for that blue dot. I see the blue dot, okay, I'm going to push this button, open the gate. Well, so we added this LPR functionality inside a Milestone that's then commanding their access control system to open the gate based on a valid match. So we'll see a stone vehicle come, drive through. We'll see that in the top right camera. We'll see the plate get read, and then you'll see the gate start to open. But not only that, the stone vehicle is registered not as a resident plate, it's registered as a contractor plate. And so not only do we open that first gate, but then we open the secondary gate, which is down here in the bottom right corner. You'll see this gate here open. Before, they had a clicker and they were walking out around the corner to click this gate like it was your garage at home. So now we have a multi-step process where based on one event, we're doing multiple things. We offloaded that work from them, and here it goes. Hit play. A little bird there. Bird's not causing any issues with the LPR. There's the stone truck coming in. There's the tag. There's the read. Tells us who it is. I'm going to pause it here.
Yeah.
So on that read, we have the plate number. That plate number matches to custom fields that we've also added to Milestone that tell us who that vehicle is assigned to and the company that vehicle is assigned to. This property also, for the residents, tracks the make and model, year, and color of the vehicle. And that's all information that they enter manually into their database, and then we take that database and import it into Milestone. So, but that gives the guard an easy way to say, just as they're watching people coming and going, hey, that's supposed to be a black Lexus, but now it's a red Toyota. That's a problem, right? Either somebody's illegally swapping plates or somebody stole a plate and is now trying to break into the property. Okay, so we got that plate read. There goes the resident gate. Down in the bottom right corner, you can see that second gate opening, which lets us into the contractor parking area. One trigger, multiple behaviors, multiple actions. Their guards don't have to do anything with that anymore. We freed up their time to deal with the people that I actually need to deal with. This is just one very easy example that shows what this integration can do. As simple as it may sound, access control and Milestone, the options are almost endless. You can use these event triggers as well to drive content up to your smart wall. And normally, if you were here, we'd have this nice smart wall demo projector with two screens, or two screens on either side. They're hiding right now, because the event took it over. But we have on our YouTube channel a video where I actually dig into smart wall a lot and showcase exactly some of these things. So if you want to know more about that, check that out there. We can always do follow-up sessions in the future for some of our other trainings. But we can take our access denied event, we can drive content up to our smart wall, we can fire off that D4100, and so now our officers, our security teams sitting somewhere know that, hey, there was an access denied, I need to look at this, this is a secure area, there shouldn't be any access denieds because nobody with a badge who has access, or if they don't have access, they should know better than to try to access these doors, right? So there's a lot you can do with that too. Okay. Now, back to what I said at the beginning. Stone is not trying to say, integrate, do all these things, with a lot of hype behind it. These are things that we've done. These are things that we've set up. These are things that we know can be useful. This integration has come a long way. If you've tried it in the past and it for one reason or another hasn't worked, now is the time to try again. Let us help you with that, and let us show you some of those things that can be done in your system. Let's identify some problems. Let's find solutions to those problems, and then let's implement those solutions. This particular use case inside of Milestone is probably one of the more exciting things that I've got to play with in the last several years because of the impact that it can have to your users. You want to free up a lot of their time, some of their time, so that they can focus on other things, because of course, we're asking them to do other things too, right? This will let them do that. It puts better tools at their fingertips without taking away or making it more complicated to work. This simplifies. This improves their tool sets. This lets them do their job. This enables them to do their job. So with that, that's all that I have. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have any questions, I'll be around. Definitely come ask. We can show you out in the lobby. We've got that same setup out there. But thank you very much, everyone.
Okay.